With the prices of each one, inshallah. These are the okay. So you can even tell you able to hear. Can you people hear? You just tell me we've got some problems here with the system. Can you people hear? If you can hear, you can just send a message here on the group, inshallah, that you can hear, inshallah. You can hear, please send a message to say you can hear, inshallah. Yeah, okay, alhamdulillah, they can hear. The problems with the earphones not connecting so well. So I was telling you the last thing we discussed yesterday, that this text says that if you uh, can't make ruku and you can't make sajda, then automatically qiyam falls off. You know what I'm saying? Say for instance you can sit and read, right? And you're gonna just make ima, etc. You're gonna sit and you're gonna make ima, right? You're gonna sit on the ground and you're gonna bend a little bit for ruku and you're gonna bend a little bit more for sajda. Then it's not necessary, and you can make qiyam. Then qiyam falls off. Why? Because they say, look here, the main purpose of qiyam is for you to make ruku and sajda. That is the mustanad view in the Hanafi madhab, and that is in all the Hanafi kitabs. But I was telling you, Mullah Fadl Rahman, he differs upon it. He said, even though that's why what he does is when you see Mullah Fadl Rahman, when he come again, he was watching, he came here for the last istimah. Even though he's sitting on a chair and reading Salah, and he's not making sajda, he'll still stand. He'll still stand, and then when times to go to, like, to stand, and then when time go for ruku, you sit on the bed, on the chair, you make ruku, and you go a little bit further down for the sajda. Whereas the Hanafi madhab says you can't make ruku, you can't make sajda, you're going to make ima, then the qiyam falls off. Is that quite clear? Did everybody understand it? You understood it? See there. وَإِنْ قَدَرَ عَلَى الْقِيَامِ. If a person can stand, he can stand, right? But وَلَمْ يَقْدِرْ عَلَى الرُّكُوعِ وَالسُّجُودِ. But he is unable to make ruku and sajda. He can't make a full ruku, he can't make a full sajda. لَمْ يَلْزَمُ الْقِيَامُ. You don't have to stand and read namaz. You can sit, the qiyam drops off. Because you can't make ruku and you can't make sajda, the qiyam drops off. وَيُصَلِّ قَائِدًا. You say you must sit. If you can sit on the ground, then you must sit on the ground. Right? And first we say you must sit on the ground. Yes, if you can't sit on the ground, then we say you must sit on the chair. So that's an important message I told you before. That if you can sit on the ground, it's not correct for you to sit on the chair. You can only sit on the chair when you can't sit on the ground. So when you sali qa'idan is, yeah, when they say sali qa'idan, yani qa'idan al-ardi, you sit on the ground. You sali qa'idan, you meet imam, and he will indicate, like, just bend a little bit down for ruku and more. And here's the reasoning. لأن ركنية القيام, because the compulsion of qiyam لتوصل به إلى السجدة. It is for you to reach towards the sajda. You like توصل به إلى السجدة لما فيه من نهاية التعظيم. Because why? Coming from a high place to a low place in awe of Allah Ta'ala is the highest form of respect, is the highest form of respect. So if you are not going to be making the sajda, if you're not going to be making the ruku, then there's no need to stand, because the whole idea is to show that you're coming from a high place to a very, very low place. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no need. So as we're saying, ركنية القيام للتوصل به إلى السجدة لما فيه من نهاية التعظيم. فإذا كان لا يتأقب السجود. So if there's no sajda that is coming after the qiyam, if there is no sajda that is coming after the qiyam, فإذا كان هذا السجود لا يكون ركنا. So then we say, he's saying that the whole idea was to show that complete humility, that you're coming from a high place to a low place solely for the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. And since you're not going into ruku and sajda, then the rukuniyat of qiyam will drop off. So they're saying, لا يكون ركنا فيتخير. But it's like, والأفضل والإمام قائدا. And then, yeah, they're saying also, the best is to sit, right? If you can't make ruku and sajda, then it is better, what? Then it is better to sit and just make ima like that. It's better to sit and make ima instead of standing and making ima. Like, imagine that. Well, if a person can't sit, it's just a true story. You get some people, they can't sit in the chair or they can't sit, so they'll stand and they'll just make like this. They stand and they'll bend a little bit down. That's a different story. We're not speaking about it. Here we're speaking where a person can't sit on the ground. Then he must sit on the ground and he must bend a little bit for ruku and he must bend a little bit more for sajda. And if he can't sit on the ground, then you say he must sit on the chair. Then he must bend a little bit for ruku. And then if he can't do that also, then we'll say you must stand and bend a little bit for ruku and bend a little bit for sajda, right? Are you following everything properly? It's quite a bit mouthful. But this here also is a question of afzaliyat. It's not a question of masal, but it's what they say there. وَالْأَفْضَلُ هُوَ الْإِيمَاءُ قَائِدًا. The better thing is where a person is not making full ruku and full sajda, it's just an indication that it's better to sit and do it, right? Right? وَالْأَفْضَلُ هُوَ الْإِيمَاءُ قَائِدًا لِأَنَّ أَشْبَهُ بِالسُّجُودِ. Because why? When you're sitting on the ground, then you bending forward, you are closer to the original sajda position instead of standing and bending a little bit. You understood that? Okay, so there was quite a few different pointers that we mentioned in that one text there. If anything is not clear, if anybody don't understand any part of that, you must ask, inshallah, that we can go over it. Okay, read the next ibarat.
فإذا كان لا يتحقق السجود لا يكون ركنا فيتخير، والأفضل هو الإمام قائدا لأنه أشبه بالسجود. وإن صلى الصحيح بعد صلاته قائما ثم حدث به برد يتمها قاعدا يركع ويسجد أو يومئ إن لم يقدر، أو مستلقيا إن لم يقدر. لأنه
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإن صلى الصحيح بعد الصلاة قائما. So a person was healthy. He was 100% right. There was no problem with his back. There was nothing right. وإن صلى الصحيح بعد صلاته قائما. So he started his salat and he was reading as normal. MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. ثم حدث به مرض. Then all of a sudden he got sick. Got maybe very, very weak. Right? His head started spinning. Or let's say he got a heavy cramp or something like that. Allah Ta'ala protect us. Right? ثم حدث بمرض أتمها قائدا. Then he can complete his salat in a sitting position, right? يرقى واسجدوا. If he can make yourself sit down and complete the salah, and if he can bend down a little bit for ruku and he can make a full sajda, then he has to bend down for ruku and he has to make a full sajda, right? Are you with me? But if he can't if he can't go down for a full sajda, then he must just bend a little bit more for sajda. So يرقى واسجدوا يومئ, right? وَإِلَّمْ يَقْدِرْ. So you just indicate for his sajda if he can't go down for a full sajda, right? And if he can't do that even, so Allah Ta'ala protect us. He was reading salah and maybe he got a heavy cramp, or you got heavy dizzy, or you got heavy weak, and then he just lay down. Then he can complete his salah in the lying position also. أو مستلقيا إن لم يقدر. يعني مستلقيا, he lay on his back, right? إن لم يقدر القعود. إن لم يقدر, if he can't sit, right? لأنه بنى الأدنى على الأعلى, because you're basing a weak on a strong. So to put a weak thing on a strong thing, that makes sense. Yeah, the original namaz started as a proper namaz, which is strong. And now there's a valid namaz for reading, there's a valid excuse for reading a weaker namaz. There's a valid excuse for reading a weaker namaz. So you can't put the weaker one on the stronger one, right? لأنه بنى الأدنى على الأعلى. فصار الاقتداء, like how they saying a person like, look at me. You know, we say in the Hanafi method, if one person is reading for a Zohar namaz, and you, for example, you finish your Zohar namaz and you came there and you saw they reading namaz, so you want to follow them and read a Nafal namaz, you can follow them and you can read a Nafal namaz, because your namaz is a weaker namaz, and a weaker namaz can't follow a stronger namaz. There's no problem with that, right? Okay, so like how a person read a weaker namaz can follow a stronger namaz, so too, yeah, we're saying that you're gonna complete your namaz in a weaker form, either by sitting and making full sajda, and if that's not possible, by sitting and making ima, indicating to your sajda, and if that is not possible, by sitting and then or by laying and making ima, so the weaker can be on the stronger. The weaker can be on the stronger. You people can start packing the benches away, and you can call all the people. And remember how I arranged you people last week. Get it. I'm gonna do one more trick.
ومن صلى قائدا يركع ويسجد لمرض ثم صح بنى على صلاته قائما عند أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف رحمه الله.
عند أبي حنيفة is غير منصرف.
حنيفة وأبي يوسف رحمه الله. وقال محمد.
So that is the opposite scenario. So a person was feeling weak, or maybe had a cramp. Just a nice way to understand this: you had a heavy cramp in your leg, and you had to reach salah, time was going out, so you started your salah, right? You couldn't stand, right? وَمَنْ صَلَّ قَائِدًا, you started your namaz sitting. يَرْكَعُ وَيَسْجُدُ لِمَرَضٍ, and he's making like a ruku and a sajda. He's bending down for his ruku, and he's making a full sajda. يَرْكَعُ وَيَسْجُدُ لِمَرَضٍ ثُمَّ صَحَّ. Then all of a sudden, that cramp went away, and the person became strong. ثُمَّ صَحَّ بنى على صلاته قائما. And now he's able to say what? Able to stand. بنى على صلاته قائما. Right? So according to Abu Hanifa, there's no problem. He can stand up now and complete his salah. Even though he started in a weaker manner, but he can complete it now in a fuller manner. He started in a weaker manner, he can complete it in a fuller manner. Right? بنى على صلاته قائما عند أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف رحمه الله تعالى. وقال محمد بن محمد استقبل بناء على اختلاف ابتدائي. Imam Yusuf says no. You cannot build the stronger namaz and the weaker namaz. وقال محمد استقبل بناء على اختلاف بالاقتداء. You cannot build a stronger namaz. Right, Muhammad, you have to restart the game. Once you got healthy and your uzr went away, you have to restart your namaz. وقال استقبل بناء على اختلافهم في الاختلاف. And this is the same but with regards to the اختلاف according to Imam between the Imam, you say that a person reading a stronger namaz, he can't read between a person, he can't read behind him, but reading a weaker namaz. So same thing here, you can't read a stronger namaz after you started in a weaker manner, right? وقد تقدم بيانه and the discussion of it fast before. Everything is clear today. Everything is clear today. Even if you're part of the larger minister, I'm not going to start with the people today. Any questions? Inshallah, you can ask the questions, inshallah. Remember, you people remember where you stand.
We don't want to go to the front today.
Please, that where you